18 days, folks. That's it. Nebraska football in a Big Ten game against Illinois. Don't you like to be included in week 0? All right. Welcome into Huskers Live. We come your way every Tuesday night right here on our Nebraska channel at the Voice of College Football, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock there in Lincoln. And, of course, this only happens because of Greg Peterson from Husker Online. Greg, what's going on?
Oh, not a lot. Just trying to brave the heat and humidity around here. Just wrapped up day 10 of fall camp. And, players are talking to us after camp and leaving a pool of sweat laying on the ground. So that's kind of the way it's been.
All right, everyone, you know the drill. Leave your comments, your questions, your debate topics for Greg and myself through the next hours we talk Nebraska football. And then I'm going to be talking the coaches top 25 poll on the main channel at 9 o'clock Eastern time, taking your calls. All right, so Wednesday seems to be the day. You're going to be back out there on the practice field tomorrow. We're back out there this past Wednesday, so it was right after our show. I know what the drill is. You're just out there to get video, and they're not going to let you see too much, but anything to take from that? But more so the conversations and what's coming out of fall camp?
Well, most people with the takeaways, after watching the video and everything, is just the sheer size of the guys on the offensive line and the defensive line. The defensive line really jumps out at you, and there's some specimens out there now, and it's top to bottom, and a lot of other guys were looking real good too. I thought Adrian Martinez was throwing the ball. He looked great, looked in great shape. Those were some major takeaways. And there was a bunch of NFL scouts there last Wednesday, and they had all their eyes on the tight end group there, watching, Austin Allen and DJ Vokalek, or Travis Vokalek. I'm sorry. That's his dad, DJ, who I played against in high school. So those were some of the takeaways besides, just everybody looking like in good shape and not a lot of injuries to talk about. Freshman Randolph Tobias was a little bit banged up. He's got a sore shoulder, so he wasn't taking part in practice, but that was about it. Marquis Stepp looks back in good form. So, those were, the quick takeaways just from things that kind of just jumped out at you.
Yeah, so I heard this out of Adrian Martinez this week. It wasn't necessarily that he went on and on and on, but it was pretty obvious from the reaction to a question concerning the tight ends is that he is extremely impressed with the size, the athleticism, the ability of this tight end group.
Yeah, and that's something that, offensive coordinator Matt Lubick said that he has never had, two tight ends like that, a pair of them like that, going back to his days at Oregon and everything. And, Coach Beckton does a great job with those guys. And, they're both are just huge guys and have just great soft hands. And, you really expect to, see that tight end group, really excel this year. And it's an eye-popping group. I mean, top to bottom, even like the wide receiver room, the incoming guys that weren't even here for spring, these guys already look the part too. So that's the crazy thing with so much depth on this team right now. And that's the major thing that we've been hearing, especially today. We talked with the defensive staff today. Depth was pretty much most of the conversations. So, it's pretty impressive to see.
The other comment I heard about that seems to be pretty outstanding is I think it was one of the main defensive players. It might have been JoJo Doman was asked about the wide receiver core and who the best wide receiver was, and he did not hesitate. He was very emphatic. Samori Toure was just blew him away, just how good he is.
Yeah, he's already an NFL player. He came in here already groomed for the NFL, and you can just tell, the maturity of him, and he does everything like a pro right now. And, he takes his time to teach the younger guys and he's just an all around great guy to have on your team. And you know, when you have him, you throw him out there with Omar Manning. You know, if Omar Manning can stay healthy and do the things he's been doing, I mean, you got a pair of wideouts right there that are going to be really, really tough to stop. So yeah, that group just looks amazing. And you know, you forget about a second year freshman. I know it's kind of funny to say a second year true freshman. Xavier Betts has had a great fall camp, and you know, Coach Frost you know, had a lot of nice things to say about him, as well as Coach Lubick. So yeah, look out for Xavier Betts to have a breakout season too. So I love that room that's loaded. And you know, we're not even mentioning like an Oliver Martin in there, who's going to get a lot of catches in this offense too. And you can go up and down. It's going to be hard for them to you know, to get a top six, because there's, just like most of these rooms, there's 10 guys deep at almost all of these positions. It's just crazy this year.
And Greg, with the Omar Manning situation, do we know for sure? I know that he was banged up, but at one point I remember it seemed as though, based on our conversations and what we saw on the field, that and saw him on the sidelines, that he looked like he was okay and physically ready to play, but just didn't get the reps.
Yeah, he was you know, fighting some injuries and had some off the field issues as well, and just never got around to being able to contribute last year. But you know, he's looking great out there this year, and you know, hasn't missed a practice spring or fall. So you know, everything looks a go with him right now, and sky's the limit with this guy. So look forward to it.
Folks, when you jump in here, as Alan has told you, like the video, just start with that, and then you can settle in. And then the next thing you need to do is let people know that we're talking Nebraska football here every Tuesday night. It's Tuesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. It's 7 o'clock there for most of you Husker fans in the Midwest. So again, Tuesday night is 7 o'clock Central Time, and we want to get the word out there, so you can help us do that. I know it looks a little awkward, and I'm still trying to configure this camera and all the camera angles and everything, because what happens here is, so it looks like I'm facing away from Greg and not paying attention to him, but that's where my monitor is. And if I put it anywhere else, it's like right in front of my camera. So if I had the director's power to flip-flop the screen, that's what I would do. So we would be facing, directing toward each other. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, leave those comments and questions. Greg, if you didn't know this already, the Yantee is coming.
I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, Moonbot got a hold of me, and yep, that's the shirt, baby. I like it. Can't wait for those to show up here and show it to Jaquez.
Moonbot's giving you a tough decision to make here. You can either have to tackle the Yantee or take a hit from Jordan Riley.
Oh, boy. Oh, my God. I think I'd rather try to tackle the Yantee, to tell you the truth. I saw Jordan Riley talk to the media today after practice, and he was just wearing shorts and a compression shirt. And I told my boss, I go, man, he's a specimen. And, yeah, he said his body's in the best shape it's been in his life. And, oh, my God, he's a scary-looking dude. And it's pretty funny because we heard a lot of praise from Tony Tuioti and from Eric Shenander today about Jordan Riley and about Darian Daniels. And, you know, these two guys are 1 and 2 on the nose right now, and they're both going to play a lot of football. And Darian Daniels is also in the best shape of his life, and he's gotten his conditioning down to where he's not going to have to come off the field every couple of plays. So, yeah, those guys are looking good. And yeah, seeing Jordan Riley today, yeah, I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley anytime.
Eustick here is getting backed up by a few other people talking about Yantee and the kind of position he's in to get playing time and get carries. Thinks he might be lacking some endurance. You got to think that coming out of the gate, at least, that they're going to be getting handoffs to 3 or 4 guys before they maybe settle in with maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's pretty much the most hotly contested position battle going on right now. So everybody's getting plenty of reps, and this coaching staff is all about the reps, especially right now in fall camp. The more reps you get, the better off you're going to be, and they got a lot to decide on, and yeah, right now we don't know. If Jaquez Yant is going to be like a 3rd and 1 guy only, or is he going to be a stalwart in the lineup? We just don't know right now. So there's a lot of decisions here to make, and like I mentioned earlier, that Marquise Stepp is also I think he's ahead of what anybody was thinking as well. So Coach Frost last Friday or last Thursday said that had a lot of nice things to say about Marquise Stepp and where he's coming along.
So, Kyle, you know that when we hit this live, I said just before I hit the live button, I said to Greg, hey, it's only 7:02. I'm doing pretty well this week. I was pretty proud of myself at 7:02. So Kyle, yeah, we should probably announce at 7:05. Let's not have you guys try to get here at 7:05 because, as you know, you all filter in late anyway. So I'm not the only one. It's just those of you that make it here on time, the loyal few that get here right on time. But, we'll hit the most people we'll have on here in the last 5 minutes is what's going to happen.
If it wasn't for that pesky monitor, we would have been on time.
Yeah, messing around with that. And it's still not where I wanted to be. The issue is, and you can understand this one, Greg, you know more about video production than I do, is so the camera, what do you call that? Like the width, the depth, all those things. It's not an angle. It's obviously when you're 4:3 or 16:9, it changes the configuration of the size of the shot. But anyway, so the shot looks different when I'm either recording by myself or if I go live by myself. That's a different size. If I've got one person on here, then if I've got 2 people, if I got 3 people. So for me to set everything up and have it work for all those shots, it just doesn't happen, unfortunately.
Yep.
We're all over the place on that. Barry B, what do you make of Top Osborne saying we are being underrated by the media this year?
I think Coach Osborne sees a lot like I'm seeing. Just a good-looking team that been waiting a long time to see. So I don't know. I don't like, I like being the underdog myself, and don't pick any fights that you don't need to pick. But Coach Osborne was out there. He looked great too last Wednesday, strutting around at practice, and I think he was having a blast out there. So that's probably where that comment's coming from.
Moonbot thinks that Marquise Stepp is going to be used like Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
I don't see that either. He's a different kind of player.
Yeah, not with the other guys in that room. Yeah. There's too many other guys that have a lot more moves in the open field and stuff. They're smaller stature than him.
And going back to Barry's comment about expectations being underrated, overrated, whatever the case might be, the coaches poll was released today, the preseason top 25. Nebraska, as you would expect, not ranked. I didn't even see to look on the those receiving votes, so I don't know if there was anyone that had them placed in the top 25, but you had 5 Big Ten teams in the top 25. You had Ohio State at 4. You had the other 4 teams all between 15 and 20. Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa, Penn State, all between 15 and 25 right there. And I was doing a little research here, just trying to refresh my memory. So the last time Nebraska was ranked in the top 25 in the preseason coaches poll was just in 2019 at number 24. And then you got to go all the way back to 2014 was the last time that they were ranked in the preseason coaches poll at 22 and finished unranked that year. And then in 2013, they started out 18th in the preseason poll and finished 25th. So it was, according to this, I might have to double check that. 2013 was the last time Nebraska finished in the top 25. the coaches poll. 2013. They didn't after that with those 9-4 seasons. I'm going to double check that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I'll do some homework on that because their first down year was 2017, right? That was Mike Riley's last year. That they would have gone 5-7, and they had a few 9-4s before that. I would have thought would have gotten them in the top 25. So I'm going to double check on that.
Yeah, because I mean they were, they had started out 8-0 or 7-0. Coach Riley under Coach Riley. I think that was the second year.
16.
Yeah,
I think it was.
And ended up. I don't know what would they end up like 9-3 or something like that.
Yeah, 9-4.
Yeah, 9-4.
The bowl game.
So yeah, that's the last time that they were actually ranked that I could ever remember during the season. So it has to be. Yeah. Preseason, I don't know.
Richard Barnes. I really like the improvements in our off-season lifting. It reminds me of the old Husker power days. Guys breaking some records.
Oh, God, yeah. Coach Duvall, man, he's a beast. And you can really notice just how much stronger guys have gotten. Guys like Casey Rogers, go up and down the line. Ty Robinson, all your offensive linemen. They've been busting it in the off season, and these guys are sculpted now. It's such a difference from when Coach Riley was here. Nobody was even held accountable for lifting and what they ate or anything. So it's a total night and day just transformation that it was a long time in the works because you had to get your guys in here and get it all on track. So. Yeah, you can definitely see the gains that they've made.
All right, I'm checking out this 2016 season because that was the year that they started 7-0 and finished 9-4. But actually, with the bowl loss to Tennessee finished 9-4, and they placed them number 24. And Nebraska dropped out of the final top 25 after the bowl games. D-Rock Irish is asking about captains. Have they named captains yet, Greg?
Not yet. They usually wait until, closer to game week for that to make it official. I mean, they might have it behind closed doors, but they haven't announced it to us yet.
All right, Vince, good to see you. Glad you could make it here live tonight.
They actually kind of weird that last night they unveiled the alternate uniforms that are going to be worn against Buffalo, and they're to commemorate 9/11. And they asked anybody that was there for the media not to show it, not to unveil the video until August 31st. So, kind of strange.
So you've seen it.
I didn't go. So no.
Okay.
So I don't know, but if it's for 9/11, I think Adidas must have something pretty cool planned for it. So who knows? We might have like some red, white, and blue Husker uniforms or something. I don't know. So your guess is as good as mine.
We've got Aaron on the line. Good to see you, Aaron. Have you heard anything about outside linebacker Caleb
Tanner?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had a great fall camp. He's locked into a starting position, and I expect big things out of Caleb this year. So he's looking great so far.
Our man Samuel's here. Pass rush should improve greatly if you consider the depth improvement on the roster. Yes,
big time, because they're with the depth that they have right now. Coach Shenander is going to have the ability to keep guys fresh. They're right now basically they've got three deep units that are all real close to each other, and so with that improved depth, they are going to get guys rested so that they can get after the quarterback, and that's a big priority on this defense this year. And especially when we talked a little bit about the guys that they have on the inside that, when you're playing the 3-4, that nose position's got to take up two spots, two gaps right there. And I think for the first time since Nebraska's been running the 3-4 that they've got the guys inside to do that, which in turn is going to help that pass rush, obviously.
Greg, the Huskers have now finished in the top 25, at least in the coaches poll, since 2013.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a bleak time here.
They did have at least 2 9-4 seasons after that, maybe 3 that they didn't get ranked for. I think it was 2 9-4. 9-4 in the Big Ten would usually finish ranked, but maybe not the impressive wins or some bad losses.
Yeah.
Got Julie here asking about Ron Brown. Would that happen to be? And I didn't know that Ron Brown was on the offensive staff. Are we talking about the former Rams receiver Ron Brown?
No.
Okay. Offensive analyst.
Ron Brown's been a part of this this program for many, many, many years.
Okay.
He was the running backs coach under Coach Osborne. And then he was on Coach Pelini's staff. He's been the tight ends coach. He's on Coach Pelini's staff. He was on Mike Riley's staff, and now he's on Scott Frost's staff. So he's always had a big say in what's going on. And he's a great guy and a fixture of Nebraska football here. So actually, if you look at my Sights and Sounds video from last Wednesday, you can see him and Coach Frost walking across the practice field together.
Okay. Got Greg here, as he always is. He's made it happen 29 times for Nebraska Cornhuskers Live. So let's build up some momentum as we get toward opening day. That's on August 28th, of course, week 0 against Illinois in Lincoln, trying to amend a 41-23 loss last year to the Illini. And old friend Brett Bielema going to be in town. All right. Richard, there is no such thing as solid news on realignments. They're either rumors, or then we finally get the actual news that it's done. There's not a whole lot in between, because until it's just about completed, nobody's going to admit to anything. So we had the big splash a few weeks ago, and now there's all sorts of speculation about what might happen.
Well, now you got fall camp opening up everywhere, so there's more to talk about than realignment.
Yeah, until something actually happens.
Would be
Zoom believes that Austin Allen and Travis Vokalek were injured. Haven't
heard anything about that. We'll be out there tomorrow, so I can confirm or deny tomorrow.
Big Pete heard the stat on the Big Ten Network that Nebraska's quarterbacks had carried 47% of the attempts last year. How can we take some of the wear and tear off the quarterbacks?
Well, I think we've already talked about that plenty with all the weapons that are around there now, and the quarterback's not going to have to scramble for his life and create things with his feet, because now you got a solid offensive line and all kinds of weapons that you're going to have accounted for, and a stable of running backs that is one of the best that I've seen in a long time around here. So the equation's pretty simple.
Andrew, good to see you here. Basically noticing in recent years that poor lateral movement from the linebackers. Teams would run our linebackers from sideline to sideline. What improvements have you seen this year?
From what I've seen just last week, everybody's moving really good. You hope so. And I think that you have a much more athletic bunch of linebackers now. And, some of those things that they were missing in the past that maybe they looked like they were doing that is that a lot of times that they were still learning and they really didn't know where they were supposed to be, and just kind of flying where they thought they were supposed to be. And that's the big difference now that these guys have been in the system long enough to where they know now where they're supposed to be. And I think we quoted this. I think it was Coach Dawson last week who, equated it as, you usually at this time you're teaching 101 level, 102 level classes, and now you're teaching the 800 level classes. So, yeah, that's going to be the biggest difference that you see there.
Seems like the return game is always one of the last ones to get figured out in terms of who's going to return those punts and kickoffs, unless you've got somebody who's done it before and they haven't really elevated as a wide receiver or running back. But Samuel's asking whether Omar Manning should be allowed to return punts.
Well, I know that he'll be one of those guys out there vying for it. I know Cam Taylor-Britt's up there. He's begging to be that guy. He'd rather play quarterback anyway, and or running back or receiver. But Omar's going to be one of those guys there. You're going to see a lot of those receivers. Maybe some of the guys like a Levi Falk and guys like that too. It's hard to say right now, but yeah, that'll all pan out as they get closer to game week, and don't be surprised to see a few other guys. Alante Brown could be right up in there in the running for that too. So we'll get a feel for that here in a couple of weeks.
Folks, you can contribute to the show. The Super Chat should be available for you right here, but also you can bypass YouTube by going to Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App. Just search Mark Rogers TV. So Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, and I would like to know what show, if there's a particular show you're contributing to. If you're just sending us contributions here at the Voice of College Football, then that's great. But if there's a particular show you want to contribute to, certainly take note of that. All right. Johnny, last week we had a discussion about Scott Frost being harassed. What needs to happen this season to avoid harassment? Maybe people could just behave themselves. Maybe we could start there, regardless of what the record is. People could just be classier and more respectful and appropriate. Maybe that would be the answer.
Yeah, and then just win games. Shut people up.
Yep, that will shut people up. The people that don't know how to behave, that will take care of it. The people that, are just going to be that way unless they get to 9-3. Like I've got a couple of predictions in here. I've lost track of them now, but a few 9-3 predictions in the chat. Ben Jones, quarterback development still seems questionable to me. I love Adrian's elusiveness, but I really question him in a decision-making. He ran a whole lot at the spring game.
Yeah, I wouldn't account much for the spring game because nobody was allowed to put their hands on him, and why wouldn't you run when he got a wide open hole there? But his decision-making has been questioned in the past, and I think that's something that he worked on in the offseason. And, just with the health that he's in right now, he's not battling any of those nagging injuries that he had been. And I think that decision-making, you're going to see a big jump in that this year, and you're not going to see a lot of those stupid turnovers that you're used to seeing.
So you had mentioned, Greg, a Sunday scrimmage. Was that this past Sunday, or you meant coming up? Yeah, this past Sunday. So what did we learn out of that? So there was no media around. That was a closed scrimmage. But did they release any kind of info on that?
No. See, they scrimmaged Sunday, and then they had yesterday off. And we talked with the defensive coaches and players today. So we basically just got the defensive side of what happened out there. So we'll hear from the offensive guys tomorrow. And, from what we heard from the defensive side is that, they had a pretty good day. And, a lot of them said that Coach Frost had put the defense in a lot of different situations that, that they're going to see on Saturdays, and they handled it really good. And, the depth was also talked about there as well. And, so yeah, for all in all, it sounded like it was good, but we don't really know what happened on the offensive side of the ball yet. But I guess they got away, at least, from what we found out or what we asked about is, they're all pretty healthy and everything. So, yeah, moving forward, like I said, we'll see more tomorrow. What's out there, who's all out there on the practice field tomorrow, and see if anybody's banged up and not participating, and we'll know more then.
Got Barry B back on here asking about the tougher opponent between Ohio State and Oklahoma based on playing style. Well, I would say that the Ohio State's got a slightly more talented, deeper roster than Oklahoma. I think they're a little bit more talented, but of course, Spencer Rattler's first-rate quarterback in Ohio State's probably going to be able to plug somebody in there. C.J. Stroud, most likely, that's going to do the job and put up big numbers, but there is that question of how good is he going to be? And, with the inexperience, can we force him into a few mistakes, which there's less of a chance with an experienced quarterback, of course, that you're going to force him into mistakes. That's the first thing that comes to mind between those two teams.
Yeah, and I also equate it to the time of year that Nebraska's playing both of them. They're getting Oklahoma pretty early, so that might be the time to get Oklahoma. Now you're playing Ohio State a little bit later in the season when they're clicking on full cylinders. So, I just think with the uncertainty with Oklahoma as well that, Nebraska plays Ohio State pretty much year in and year out, and Oklahoma and Nebraska haven't seen each other in a number of years now. So I just think that rivalry makes it a little bit more of a winnable game, in my opinion, than the Ohio State game.
And it's impossible to really come to a conclusion on what the psyche is, since Nebraska has played Ohio State, and they played them really well, obviously, in Columbus in 2018. But the last two efforts have been dominant performances by Ohio State. More so 2 years ago in Lincoln, where they really buried them in the first half. The last game was, I think it was 28-17, and there was a turnover around midfield that broke open the game. And Ohio State, give them credit, they won the game by 4 touchdowns. But so it wasn't a close game, but it was much closer than the final score would indicate. And Nebraska was in the game in the second half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that was progress. They weren't blown out of that game in the first quarter like the year before. So, yeah.
Seth is concerned about Brett Bielema wearing house slippers at the Big Ten coaches interview with James Franklin and Scott Frost.
I didn't see that, so I can't comment.
I don't think that's going to affect the game. I don't know if anybody else has a theory out there, but I think that's not going to be a major impact.
I figure he's the coach of a Big Ten football team. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, he's been around a little bit and obviously had success in this league, so we'll see if he can do it again. We've got this comment coming in. I don't know if this is somebody with a legit question or if they're just kind of trying to poke the bear a little bit about Nebraska fans being content with mediocre recruiting at Nebraska. What would be your overall assessment, Greg, of where the recruiting should be? We'll put aside the records on the field. They don't come close to meeting expectations, but the recruiting classes under Frost versus what you would expect them to be.
Right now he's recruiting 3-star level class, and you want it to be up there at that 4-star level class. You want to, instead of being in the, around the 20th recruiting class, you want to be up there around, 10, 12. That's kind of where they should be. And we've seen in the past, some coaches that could, Bill Callahan, my goodness, he put together a roster full of NFL guys. And so it can be done. And, when you start winning games, then your recruiting is going to bump up. But no, nobody's happy right now with 3-star recruiting. Nobody around here is happy with it. And yeah, things have got to get better.
We got Samuel back at it. What does Samuel have for us here? Boy, that's going back. Brooke Behringer, Matt Truman. Anybody like that on this year's roster? I don't know where he's going. with that? Like,
Well, I mean, if needed, I think Heinrich Harburg would be the next guy up. I know Logan Smothers is getting most of the second team reps right now, but I think Heinrich Harburg throws a much better ball and much more accurate ball and with a lot more zip on it right now. So, no, I mean, because Brooke Behringer had to come in and cover for Tommy Frazier and led those guys to a national title. And Matt Turman was another guy that came in and saved the day. And the Terminator, he's the head coach at Omaha Scott Catholic and has won several state titles as a head coach there. So, yeah, I would have to say it'd be Heinrich Harburg, the true freshman.
okay. I haven't heard that name in forever. And I saw that name and I thought, Truman. Is it Matt Turman?
Turman.
All right, Matt Turman, yes. Okay. Bebo. This is an interesting stat. I don't know where you find this, but it's obviously out there, but it's not on every stat sheet that you find online. But he's saying that
it's a big deal. Yeah.
Only a 30% touchback, that you should do better than that. Yeah.
That's one of the biggest battles going on right now in fall camp is that kickoff position, because Connor Culp he's the field goal kicker. He's got that wrapped up. But yeah, they brought in a guy to compete, and then there's a true freshman walk on that they love that has he's got a cannon for a leg, and he's like a Sam Foltz type of player who was a wide receiver and a safety and a kicker and punter for his team. And I don't think he has not ever had a touchback in his high school career. So, yeah, that's a big position to need this year. And they're going to try to get a touchback on every kickoff this year. That's the goal.
Dan, that's a good question. Greg addressed that earlier tonight. So as soon as this live stream's over, what you do is you go back and you watch it. It'll post in about 15 minutes. So as I say all the time, we always have the most people on here at the end of the show. But and that's not just this show. This is every show. That's what it happens.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that Coach Osborne sees a lot what I'm seeing, and he loves it because it looks like his old teams for a change. Just with Coach Osborne has not seen this many big bodies on this football team in 15 years. So that's what I'm thinking, and I think he's proud. And I think that the things have finally turned around. He's got his boys in here now. Trev Alberts is the AD. Scott Frost is the head coach. I think that right now Tom Osborne is probably more optimistic in Nebraska football than he has been in a long, long time.
So we've got a big prediction coming out of Evil Carnation. Says he might be the only one that thinks Nebraska is going to beat Ohio State. Offhand, do you remember when that game is? I'll look it up. It's mid-season, right? It's not either early or late. So
season, yeah. Here it is, November 6th. So
okay.
late.
Yeah, so about 3 games left at that point, 3 or 4.
Wisconsin and Iowa, last 2 games after that. So
okay, that's right. That's the home stretch. Wow, that's right.
Yep. So yeah. I think we talked about it. I thought that they were going to win like 2 of those 3 games. I think I predicted a few weeks back, but Ohio State was not the one that I thought they were going to win.
Well, we'll look at it this way. To ask us to forecast a game that's going to happen November 6th, I'm not big on doing that because
it depends too. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going to happen between now and then. So let's assume that everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to, which isn't going to happen with every team in the country. But let's see, that's going to be the 10th game of the season. So Ohio State probably goes in at 9-0. Maybe they're 8-1, and Nebraska's 5-4, 4-5, something like that. Maybe 6-3.
Yeah,
6-3. So Ohio State's going to be a decided favorite. Again, we're sitting here the first week of August. making these statements 3 months in advance. Ohio State doesn't fix their secondary, and their offense isn't quite as explosive because of the issue at quarterback. And let's say they, for them, stumble around. They're 7-2, and Nebraska outplays themselves a little bit, and they could be 7-2, 6-3 at that point. Then you're looking at more like, okay, we got a ball game here.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, if there's always all those ifs, and if they beat Oklahoma, they're probably a ranked team going into that game, more than likely. But a lot of, like you said, a lot of things are going to happen between now and then. And I think we can better predict that midway through the season.
And we can go through the top 5 teams in the country every year, and they typically lose one game, right? And it's not always the game you think they're going to lose. So the last few times Ohio State's lost in Big Ten play, they were not to the teams that you would have guessed at the beginning. It wasn't the Penn State or the Michigan game. It was Purdue. When Purdue lost 7 games that year, they completely tore Ohio State to shreds on that given night. And if you looked at the rest of the season, there's no comparison between the teams. That Ohio State team won the Rose Bowl. They finished 13-1. They were in the top 3 in the country, but on that given night, they lost to a 7-loss Purdue team. They lost to Iowa, who was a good team, but still not on Ohio State's level, but they got murdered. That happened 2 years in a row. So it's not always the team that you expect.
Nope.
So it can happen, and it does.
Yep.
I used to count double-digit underdogs that win during the season. It happens well over 10 times a season, like 15 or 20 times a season. A double-digit underdog wins in college football. Shoot, Wisconsin was a 31-point favorite against Illinois a couple of years ago when they lost that game.
Oh. It's the beauty of college football.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to put words in Greg's mouth, so this is a follow-up to the recruiting question, but I know that you really like this coaching staff and what they're doing right now.
No, this is a pretty tight staff, and I think they're getting the guys that they want right now anyway. That, you know, once you, like I said, once you start winning some more games on the field, then you're going to get those higher profile guys. But, you know, they've missed on a lot of these higher ranked guys that they've brought in here, and they just weren't the character guys that they thought they were. So, you know, they've shifted the type of player that they're recruiting these days. And, you know, like I said, wins are going to translate to star level of recruiting. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. This coaching staff, they love each other, and they're all heck good coaches. And the kids believe what they tell them, and as they should. So I don't see any, unless a coach is going to take a position, you know, a better position somewhere else, I don't see any of them leaving.
I tend not to look at the world like this, but hey, I understand what you're saying, and a lot of people would agree with you. But this is a major leap. So you're talking about thousands of players across the country. So there are all sorts of 4 and 5 stars that bust their tail and are very humble and do their very best and all that. And there's other ones that come on and feel entitled. So there's definitely that. It's to some degree by certain guys, but I don't know that that's an issue.
3 stars make up 80% of teams' rosters anyway.
Yep.
But it's what you do. I mean, look at all the amount of 3 stars and lower that make it to the NFL. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, a lot of those 4 and 5 star guys just are not high character guys, and you know they end up being busts. But yeah, I mean, your bread and butter is 3-star recruiting, and it's what you do with those guys when you get a hold of them and how you develop them. And you know, unfortunately, like I just mentioned, that those 4-star guys that they've brought in here just haven't worked out very well, and you know, we'll see how they go here in the future.
Yeah, all you have to do is if you want to start looking at recruiting rankings, and I'm talking about player recruiting rankings, all you have to do is pick your year and start going position by position. If you go with the like the top 250 in Rivals or whatever your service is, then you're not going to get down to the 3 stars. So you got to go position by position. You're going to go into the 3 stars and you're going to start seeing guys that, oh man, he was good. Yeah, he was all conference. He was this. He was. Yes. Are the best guys going to be at the top? Yeah. But there's going to be a lot of misses up there too. It's.
Yep. And it also depends on where a kid's from too. He might be a 4-star talent, but he's just somewhere that nobody sees much of him, and he doesn't play against a very high level of talent in the high school level as well. So,
All right. See, here again, these are the kind of statements that I always challenge because, okay, November hits and that's when the upset. See, you would have to have somebody go through and do the research on this for me to believe that there are any more upsets in one particular month than any other month. I think there are upsets in every month.
November sounds good to me.
Yeah, that would work for 3 of them. Take your pick. Again, most likely they're upsets, but
yeah,
we'll never know until we get to the game. And let's see.
Yep.
Nolan, this Illinois game is going to be a real tell of how Husker season is going to go. My post-traumatic stress from the last few seasons is starting to kick in.
He hits it right on the head. Hits the nail right on the head there. Yeah, I mean, the season goes as they go in that Illinois game. I think that's gonna set the course one way or the other.
All right.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, want to take a swing at Bebo?
Yeah, we had Coach Sander was actually talking about that today with because they are with as much depth as they have in that front 7, not just up front, but the total front 7, and then the secondary as well. That you're going to see them switch it up and play a lot more 4-man front than you're used to seeing because they do have those big bodies inside and they have a bunch of guys going at it and competing for playing time. So, you're going to see things change up quite a bit more than you're used to seeing.
So Dan is asking, Mark, what is the latest you have heard about the Texas-Oklahoma situation? Any Big Ten rumors? So Texas-Oklahoma, it's all been signed, sealed, and delivered. They're going to the SEC. Now they are tied down to the Big 12 legally right now as it stands through the 2025-26 sports calendar year. But think about that. Are they going to play the 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25 football seasons in the Big 12 that with all that bad blood and with everything that's happened? I just don't see any way that's going to happen. So lawyers are involved, and I believe that they're going to reduce, negotiate out of that settlement to a certain extent, which I believe is $80 million per team, and get out of that league sooner. That's what I think.
Oh yeah, it's like they're right now they're living with their divorced wife right now, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, exactly. And in terms of Big Ten rumors, the Kansas rumor got really hot the other day, and we tossed that around here quite a bit on our various videos. I don't know that the Big Ten's going to expand unless they see something that's really going to impact the league. And financially, based on all the information out there that I've seen, the speculation about them plucking a couple Big 12 teams is that that's really not going to help the league from a market standpoint, from a recruiting standpoint. Sure, they'll make more money because the contract's bigger, but then they'll just distribute the money to another 2 schools, and it's going to come out as a wash, or actually maybe lose a little bit of money per school. So I don't think they're going to make a move just to make a move.
No. I think it's a wait and see kind of game right now. I think at least until after the season is over and things can kind of get figured out with Oklahoma and Texas on when they're leaving, which I don't see them playing another year after this year in the Big 12 anyway. And, I think they'll just end up paying what they have to pay to get out of there. And then I think, you got the summer or, the rest of the year to disband the Big 12 and, realign everybody else. And that's just what I see right now. But I might be wrong.
And especially since what I've heard is, and we've discussed this before, that the Big Ten and the SEC bring in the most money per team from the TV revenue. They're right neck and neck, way above everybody else, double what everybody else brings in. But once Texas and Oklahoma join the SEC, that the SEC is going to go from somewhere, I think these are just guesstimations, go from somewhere around 68 to 70 million per team in regards to revenue distribution into the 90s. So they may, with that added value, say, we'll throw you a few bucks too. We've got deep pockets and help you out so you can get in here sooner, and we can renegotiate with ESPN. And this is an interesting one. Is Adrian Martinez even in the top half of Big Ten quarterbacks? Well, I don't
rank that. Somebody had some rankings out, and I know he was not in the top half. I can't remember what I heard or who it was, but
there's a lot of close calls on that.
Yeah. But I think he's got the potential to be. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, if he has another down year like he's been having, then no. But if we see that special player that he was when he was a freshman, then I think he can be.
Well, if we want to go through him, he better be better than Noah Vedral, who left Nebraska.
Yep.
I think he is.
And I think that that ranking that I heard had Vedral ranked ahead of him.
Really?
I think so.
No, I think Adrian Martinez is better than Noah Vedral.
I do too, but not taking a shot at Noah. I like Noah for a long time.
Yeah, you know these guys. So the Maryland quarterback, Tua's brother, Talia Tagovailoa, he's only played like 4 games, but he's got a ton of potential. He can sling it. He's really good. And Maryland's got like a top flight wide receiver core. They could be exciting. They'll probably give up 40 points a game, but they're going to be exciting. So he hasn't proven it, but he might be better. He's got the potential to be better. The Michigan State quarterbacks aren't that good. Peyton Thorne and the Temple, Anthony Russo that came in from Temple. No, Martinez is better than those guys. Sean Clifford.
Interesting.
Sean Clifford at Penn State. Who do I take? I don't know. Sean Clifford probably has better numbers, but I've looked at those and they're skewed. He's not played well against good teams. That's a close call. And the Indiana quarterback Michael Penix is really good.
He's good, yeah.
You expect the obviously if the Ohio State quarterback, if he's not good, then they just move on to the next guy. Yeah. So whoever that
5-star isn't good enough, they'll get the other 5-star. So yeah.
So it looks like Cade McNamara right now is going to win the job at Michigan, and he hasn't played much. He only played a few games last year. So that's a difficult comparison to make.
Graham Mertz
at Wisconsin.
Pretty good.
Spencer Petras at Iowa played a full season. Well, didn't play a full season, but for them, so they at least have some experience. The Illinois quarterback Brandon Peters, the Michigan transfer, he's been around a long time.
Yeah,
he's capable. He's decent.
Who does Purdue have? I don't know.
Plummer, I believe, is done.
Oh, yeah.
Then they've got Aiden Connell. I'll take Adrian Martinez over those guys. And Minnesota with Tanner Morgans, he's a good player. I think he's mid-range.
Yeah. With the potential to be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And Northwestern's going with the South Carolina transfer, Tyler Helinski, I believe.
A lot of transfers. That transfer portal sure does give and take, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do we know if the Northwestern quarterback, Peyton Ramsey, went somewhere? Did he go to the NFL? I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I think he did get drafted.
Yeah, or I would have heard that he went somewhere. Yeah. Okay. All right, folks. Anything else, Greg?
Not much. Just waiting to see what I can see tomorrow, and have a lot more to talk about later. So it's about where we're at.
Right, folks. We love doing this every Tuesday night. We hope you do as well. And if you do, please do us a favor. We deliver the show, and you guys go out there and bring some more folks in here to talk Nebraska football every week here at the Voice of College Football at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Greg's got some amazing video online here on YouTube on Husker Online.
And Josh did apologize for not being able to make it tonight with us. So hopefully we'll have him back next week.
That will be awesome, as we are just, I believe, a couple shows away from talking about Illinois. So we'll have the next 2 Tuesday nights. And then, let's see, tonight's the 10th, 17th. Yeah, just the next 2. And then we'll lead right into Illinois.
Yep.
And, man, that's a big one, conference game right out of the gate.
Can't wait.
All right, Greg. Appreciate you being here as always, man.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again next week.